we're looking at centralized RPC and decentralized RPC. So the blockchain is an amazing technology which has helped transform the human world, and from it being used as a technology behind digital currency like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it being used as a technology that is powering various powerful applications. A lot of awesome and amazing applications which have make moving of payment or moving of funds easier. But for there to be an effective use of this blockchain technology, there needs to be a way of communication with the blockchain. So now, for us to be able to communicate with the blockchain, that was when RPC endpoint were created. The major reason why of creating an RPC endpoint is to enable us interact with the blockchain. Now, in our normal Web2 world, we interact with the backend. How do we interact with the backend? We interact with the backend with the help of an endpoint by sending either post or get request. So we send post request when we want to carry out a write operation to the backend. We send a get request when we want to carry out a read operation to the backend. So same thing too comes to the Web3 space. The blockchain can also be seen as a server. The blockchain can be seen as a server, but the way in which this blockchain server was built is quite different from the way in which the normal Web2 server was built. The blockchain server was built to be decentralized, and this blockchain server is formed as a result of coming together of various network. So that is how this blockchain server was built. Now, let's now look at what is an RPC. In simple term, an RPC is basically endpoint that enables us to interact with the blockchain. So now, our if you see, there is no application that is built with the help of the blockchain that does not make use of an RPC endpoint to interact with the blockchain. Now, let's take a look at our popular apps like MetaMask. You will realize that whenever you want to configure a whenever you want to add a network to the MetaMask, it always require for what? It always require you to provide what? An RPC endpoint. So let's go to our MetaMask. Let's click on settings. Let's click on network. Let's click on one of the network. So you will see the RPC feed. This is what is called the RPC endpoint. It is with the help of this endpoint that MetaMask is able to interact with the blockchain. So without this RPC endpoint, MetaMask is useless. It cannot function because whenever you are sending this token, it is with the help of this RPC endpoint that MetaMask is able to communicate to the blockchain that we want to send token to so address. It is with the help of this RPC endpoint, MetaMask is able to communicate with the blockchain that you want to withdraw your token and all that. So that is why we need an RPC endpoint. This is the importance of RPC endpoint. It basically enables us to want to communicate with the blockchain. Now, um, now, so because of the importance of this RPC endpoint, some set of people have decided to solve this problem. So a set of people have decided to create this RPC endpoint for us, and or we can say let's say let me use it. Some organizations have decided to create this RPC endpoints, and these various organization or platforms are known as RPC providers. So now these RPC providers they can be categorized into two. We have a centralized RPC provider and we have a what? And we have a decentralized RPC provider. So now what is a centralized RPC provider? The centralized RPC provider makes use of the number Web2 server to ensure interaction with the blockchain. That is now once they've set up their server, once they make use of a normal Web2 server, to enable interaction with the blockchain. That is, now after they've set up with the server, then they give you an endpoint that enables you to interact with the blockchain through their server. That is, their server is acting as an intermediary. That is, whenever you want to whenever you want to interact with the blockchain, you send a request to their server. Then their server then send a request to the blockchain. Then after whatever the response is then sent back to their server. Then after the response has been sent back to their server, it is through their server that you get the response that you need. So this is basically how this centralized RPC provider works. And don't forget that this server is basically owned by a central organization. That is, they control various activities that is involved. They control various activities surrounding this centralized server. And now as a result of this, it has introduced what? It has introduced centralization back to the blockchain. And the blockchain is basically trying to take away centralization because of the negative effect we have seen over the years. So now, if the blockchain is trying to take away decentralization, then why are we now using a centralized? If the blockchain is trying to take away centralization, why are we now using a centralized RPC provider to get our information? That is, whatever applications that rely on this centralized RPC provider, they are prone to outage. Infura in 2014 was down as a result of DDoS attack, and this leads to a lot of applications that rely on Infura to interact with various blockchain. It made them experience outage, and as a result of this, I'm very sure, a lot of those applications will experience loss of users, and and they will experience loss of users, which will lead to loss of money, and which might definitely make them go bankrupt if they are not careful as a result of that outage. That is why a decentralized RPC provider came up. So now, a decentralized RPC provider is like a network of computer that ensure communication with the blockchain in a decentralized way. That is, a network of computer whose sole aim is to ensure that you are able to interact with the blockchain in a centralized way. And this network of computer, it does not require an intermediary. So that is, this decentralized RPC provider, they make use of the blockchain to build this their network of computer. So the underlying technology behind them is the blockchain, which make them decentralized. That is, whenever you want to interact with the blockchain, what you are basically you are interacting with the network of computer that they've set up. So now, it is this network of computer then send your request to the blockchain. After sending your request to the blockchain, whatever response you get, then this network of computer then send it back to you. So now, it just enable you to make sure that you are interacting with the blockchain in the decentralized way. And what is the advantage of making use of a decentralized RPC provider? There is no outage. Your application will never experience outage. You will never experience loss of user because there was an attack. Number two, it is cheaper. It is cheaper to work with. Now, if you are making use of a centralized RPC provider, they will need to pay for cost of maintenance for the server and others, which will make you to pay some service charge every month. But when you are making use of a decentralized RPC providers, they don't make use of any centralized server. They don't make use of any centralized service. As a result of this, it makes your service, it makes the cost of communication with the blockchain cheaper, then which make your cost of running your application much cheaper and saving you more money. Who does not like to save money? Everyone love to run their business at the lowest cost possible, then then get their profit at the highest, and then get the highest profit possible. This is advantage of using a decentralized RPC provider. It increased competition. Imagine in 2014 when the infra RPC provider went down. So imagine those that have made use of an applications. Imagine those competing with those applications relying on the infra RPC provider. Then and their computer have made use of a decentralized application. So that is when infra was down, the user those applications that was down also their user will be looking for alternative, and as a result of this the people that are relying on a decentralized RPC provider will acquire more customers. So now, having understand the benefit of using a decentralized RPC provider, then if you are planning of changing your RPC provider to decentralized one, then we have a wonderful and amazing RPC provider, which is the Pocket Network. The Pocket Network have done an amazing job in providing you with a decentralized RPC provider. Pocket Network have done an amazing job in building an amazing endpoint which comes with a lot of benefits, and trust me, whenever you are using this RPC endpoint, your application will never experience anything like outage. It will never experience that because they are decentralized RPC provider. There is no single point of failure. You will be operating your application at lowest cost possible. You will have edge over your competitor. There is no single point of failure. These are the benefit of coming. These are the benefit of using a decentralized RPC provider. If you are a business owner and you actually want to take your business to the next level, I will advise you to start using the Pocket Network. I advise you to start using a decentralized RPC provider. It is the best bet for your business because there will never be anything like added. And you know how hard it is for you to acquire customer, for you to scale and all that. And it will be sad for you to see all your customer go away within just because of outage of a specific service that your application rely on. But with Pocket Network, you will never experience that.